Welcome to this tutorial on creating using ASP.NET. A web service is a web application which is basically a class consisting of methods that could be used by other applications. This step-by-step tutorial shows you how to write a simple web service called My Web Service that exposes methods for adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying two numbers. Procedure for writing a simple web service is follows. First, open the Visual Studio.NET environment. On the File menu, click New option and click Website option. A new dialog box appears. Click Visual C# Projects and then click ASP.NET Web Service. Then change the default file name to new file name, that is My Web Service. Then click the OK button. Change the name of the default web service that is created from service.asmx to My Web Service.asmx, as well as you change the service.cs file to My Web Service.cs file. Switch to the code view in the designer environment. Define methods that encapsulates the functionality of your service. Each method that will be exposed from the service must be flagged with a web method attribute in front of it. Here I test the web service using the .asmx file. I just right click the My Web Service.asmx file and click the Browse with option. Then I click the Browse button in the dialog box. This page enables you to see the default web methods available in the C# web service. Here, Hello World is the default method available in the C# web service. I just click the Hello World. Then I invoke the method. It outputs Hello World in your browser. Then I close the browser and move to the web service application. Now I am going to add 4 methods in my code window. I just copy the codings and paste it in the editor window. Here I specify 4 methods: add, sub, mul, div. Again I went to the Solution Explorer and right click the My Web Service.asmx file and click the Browse with option. Then click the Browse button. Again it move to the browser window. This page enables you test the different web services methods. Here I click the Add method. It asks the input from the user. So I just typed 67 and 78 and invoke the method. It shows the output 145 in the XML format. Now I concluded that my web services is working well. I close the browser and just copy the URL of the web service and minimize the browser window, and I newly opened the Microsoft Visual Studio 2008 application. This is the procedure for consuming a web service already created. Open the Visual Studio.NET environment. On the File menu, click New option and choose Website. A new dialog box appears. In it, I choose Visual C# and I choose ASP.NET Website. Then I change the name of the website to Example. Then I click the OK button. Now I am going to add a reference to my web service to the new console or window application. Here on the Solution Explorer, I just right click the project name and choose the Add Web Reference option. Here I paste the URL which I copied already. Then I give Go option. Here I click Service Description. It asks the web reference name. By default it is localhost. I just change the name of the web reference as My Web Service and select the Add Reference button. Now I add the web service to my application. Now I move to the design mode. I placed 3 labels, 2 text boxes and 4 buttons in my form. Here I change the text property of the label 1 to web service. Then I change the text property of label 2 to first number. Then I change the text property of label 3 as second number. Finally, I change the text property of all buttons. Button 1 as add. Button 2 as sub. Button 3 as mul. Button 4 as div. Now the design is over. I just double click the button and going to type the following code in the editor. Here I specify 4 methods: add, sub, mul and div. Here I create the instance of the Prosy object that was created. Now I click the build in the build menu to build the application. Click start in the debug menu to test the application. I give the ints 45 and 56. Then click the add button. It works well. Again I click the sub button. Some problems is here. So again I went to the application. I move to the source view. I save the program. Again I build the project. Then click start on the debug menu to test the application. I give the values 45 and 56. Click the add button. It works well. Click the sub button. It also works well, as well as multiplication and division buttons also. Successfully I created the web service using ASP.NET. Thank you all.